Greetings everyone, welcome everyone to Let's Play for a Day, a game I'm only going to play once, and afterwards never more. And today we are playing ArcaniA Gothic 4. Yeah, it's a pretty controversial game, and I figured since I'm playing it and everyone has been actually asking me a surprising amount of questions about this game, I thought I might as well give it a shot. And first off, make a video about it, and also talk about my opinion of this game. So, where should I start? Let's just say that the game is not as terrible as many people make it out to be. That's the first thing I have to say. Second thing, on the other hand, is it's not terrible it's not terrible because it's actually not a Gothic game. It's probably the most important aspect, because as a Gothic game it certainly fails because it has nothing to do with Gothic at all. That's probably the most important point you have to say in advance. This game basically only carries the name, so it has like a base consumer base who are willing to buy this game, or just have at least willing to try the game, like I do. I only rented the game because I heard that it's really short, and I'm like 8 hours in already, or 8 hours in. So the reason why this is no Gothic game is that the gameplay is, well, there are some really changes, and there's not really like, there are NPCs that are called Gore and Lester and Diego, etc. But you know, just from the look, ignoring the look. And I think the voice is probably the same probably in the third game, I can't tell. Don't really remember the voices from the English voices. But anyway, I would call it's basically baby's first RPG. This game is, well, I wouldn't say well dumbed down, actually fits it pretty well, because there are so many things not in this, so many things not implemented in this game, yeah, it's kind of hard to say. It's just that many things are really dumbed down. I think probably the first thing I should show, which probably gives the best display of that, is the character screen, which is that, or the skill screen. You see that there are only eight skills in total of this whole game which you can skill. There are 3 combat ones, 3 ranged combat ones, close combat I mean, of course, and 3 magic ones. You can see that I'm a ranger, obviously, since I was constantly using the bow up to this point. There are milestones where you like get some certain bonuses, and that's pretty much it. Otherwise you just get a range, power, mana, etc, etc, etc. And you get per level 3 skill points which you can spend, which is pretty much everything. That's the whole skilling system. There's no in-depth. You see, there's also no pickpocketing or lockpicking, because that isn't in the game. At least pickpocketing isn't in the game. Lockpicking is in the game, but it's basically from a certain point you get a lockpick and you just know how to do it. It's a rather retarded minigame. I think I can't show it off because there is probably no lock chest in this cave, or I don't know. We'll see. And yeah, also one thing that I really dumped down is, for example, the crafting. For example, I could in the Gothic games you usually had to go to the blacksmith in order to make weapons, or go to an alchemy table in order to do that. Here you just can craft it. I could craft this mage class sword just by clicking on there. It's rather retarded, since you can also do that in the middle of combat, and it doesn't really make much sense. I could also just craft grilled meat out of my ass without even needing fire or anything. I also like how it calls that crafting. But oh well. What can I say about the character? Okay, I have to say in general the story of this game is rather terrible. Hands down, there's nothing really great to say about it. First problem is probably the main character, because he is just not really sympathetic. He's like, basically, in the German version he really sounded like like mud. And that's not really a good start. And he sounds like Mutt from Gothic 1, there is something terribly wrong. And in the English version, from what I've heard, he's just really, really smug. Which is also not a good thing, or a good point for him. And also the story starts quite terribly off, because the problem is that the very first NPC you meet in the game is the one you're going to marry. It's your big love called Ivy, and you're somehow supposed to emote to her, which just doesn't make much sense. It's just, hey, I'm your big love me and such, we're going to get married. And for this person you don't know, and I honestly didn't like her either, you have to go to her father and do trials in order to marry her. Because what did he say? It's a custom in his family. Blah blah blah. It's just you know, you also don't get that's also another problem, that the characters in this game don't have any character. They're just like they're pretty much soulless people, because you don't, for example, you never really get around like starting to know Ivy better, or like from the past, what you've done together. Am I going backwards? It's just, you never happen to meet her, or never happen to know her a bit. Oh, I'm going the right way. You never happen to meet her. It's just, she's there, you love her, go forward, do that. And it's pretty much the same with every NPC. There's like no NPC which is quietly detailed. It's also because of the lack of dialogue. Then again, I'm actually glad about it, because the dialogue is quite terribly written. Hey, die for God's sake. Thank you. Stupid lurker. Are you done over there? It's just that everything is so flat, and the problem with the story is also that for an RPG, it's just extremely linear. You have no influence in the story whatsoever. There's like never like a turning point or a crossroad, whatever. There's just like never a point where you can like decide for yourself what you're going to do. It's never that you have a choice what you need to do. You just follow one straight path. You can't like I think the current example is beautiful. I'm supposed actually to get into an orc camp, but the orcish guard doesn't let me in. And the reason why I can't just beat the crap out of him is because he has to tell the guy inside to let me in. So he sent me to this orc shaman. Oh, I think I forgot what I was here for. Oh well. So he sends me to an orc shaman to bring him booze, and the orc shaman sends me to another orc who has problems, and that orc sends me to another orc he has problems with, and that orc, after I beat him up, sent me to this cave to get that thing he stole from the other orc. He has I have to help. So it's a ridiculous string of quests which I could just simply avoid when I had the chance to say, you know what, fuck you, you know, gay guard, I just beat you up until you actually tell your friend to let me in. But, like I said, that's not possible. You're just dumbly following around one straight line. You don't have any... You're just doing what your twat main character is doing. Well, what can I say about the combat? Well, it's really great to talk about commoners. There's nothing going on, but I think now I'm going the right way. I'm going to get some new enemies. I have to say the combat is, well, quite enjoyable. It is, well, I'm playing a ranged character, and do you see that it's really easy to outsmart the enemies by just constantly backpedaling. But at least I have to say you have manual aiming, which I really appreciate. It's like you have to put a little bit of skill into this game. Close combat, on the other hand, seems to be extremely obnoxious. You can see that he sometimes does this move where he shivers green. That's a special attack. And the problem with these special attacks is that every enemy has it. They like to spam it, and those attacks are not blockable. So you have to dodge out of the way. And the problem is that because they're spamming that much, you can barely get any hits in on them, because they're constantly spamming this attack. Oh, what the hell? Oh, a lizard. I haven't seen those things before. So I can kind of imagine how annoying it is to play constantly close combat. Because there's some like boars and field raiders who have a charge attack, so hello there. Who are going to charge past you, so I have to run after them in order to hit them. And it's just really obnoxious. One funny thing that could actually show that off. One fun thing I figured out is that there are like how should I say, like combat zones for certain animals, or for every monster in this game. And as soon as they get out of this zone, if I could run away. Oh, there's a bluff. Let's see. As soon as they get out of this zone, they just instantly run back. Maybe. Yeah, there we go. The problem is, while they're doing that, they're invincible. So we have to run after them to actually kill them. So I have to run all the way back after him, so he actually gets to his destination again, to start attacking him again. It's extremely silly, I have to say. Instead of like in I don't know, Gothic, where they just start taunt you again, say, and go like, you know, if you leave me alone, I'll leave you alone too, etc, etc, etc. But in this game, they just keep coming, or just instantly run backwards, which is actually quite hilarious. I had like the same thing for an orc. It's especially hilarious when you find like orcs. They run after you with their weapon out, and they instantly turn around, shaft their weapon, and just run back. The first time that really happened to me, I was like, what the fuck is that? But anyways, I think the only thing which is really positive about this game are the graphics, or at least that's what people say, but honestly, I don't find these graphics all that great. Or oh, Jesus Christ, we have to go. Or I think the main problem with this game is it has nice environments, but the environmental design is quite bad. We have really just those linear pathways which you have to go. Linear pathways which you have to go. You can't like go somewhere else. Like try to take a shortcut, like go over a rock or so, because there's like a truckload of invisible walls in this game. I could actually quickly show off the map, and it's always like divided in like zones. You can actually see that in here. Initially they started here. That was like the first zone where I had to get past this bridge, but which was guarded by brigands. So I only had this zone to explore. Then I moved on to this zone, which I was able to explore. And the problem is that there are a couple of caves like here and here and here, but most of them are related to quests. In other words, there is not much to find. So there is no reason to actually explore on your own, because it's basically pointless. Afterwards, I got into this zone, and afterwards into this zone. I think I'm currently working to get past here. I don't know. I don't even have a clue currently. So it's actually quite a shame, because the environment looks good, but it's just that the way it's designed is pretty terrible. At least I have to say the game has barely bugs, but that doesn't really speak in its favor, so simplified as it is. It would be almost embarrassing if they had bugs so linear this game as is. But anyways, one weird thing that I also realized is, for example, some equipment that, like the traders, some of the traders are really what I didn't like either are the traders, because they have equipment an infinite amount. You can go to them, they have infinite amount of arrows, infinite amount of these hemp bandages, which is actually, or hemp bandages, I'm sorry. It's actually, those items are actually quite interesting, because you can only use them outside of combat, and they use heal 100 health. But which I find really weird is that they only cost 1 single gold. So in other words, they're like trying to not make you not that you never run out of healing items, which is kind of weird. But anyways, phew, I think I'm pretty much done with this video. I don't want to drag it out too much. What I can say in conclusion is ArcaniA is certainly not a Gothic game by any chance. Jesus, I love this odd thing. It's by any chance not a great RPG. It's probably like RPG which is kind of mindless, I would say. It's something that don't really need to bother with exact scaling or so. It's just kind of bland. If you really intend to ever get this game, I would rather suggest you to play it A on the PC, because the Xbox version is terrible, and B to only rent it. I think this game has only a running time of like 20 hours, so it's not really worth buying it. Anyways, if you still have questions, feel free to ask in the comments. I'm sure I wasn't done with everything I wanted to say about this game. But anyways, je suis Gothic. Au revoir!